Hello, 8th grade. So this week's lesson, I'm going to just do a rundown step by step on how to put together your nonfiction text structures magazine project. As I promised last time, I created one from the cover all the way down to 3 articles. By now, you should have picked your nonfiction topic that you want to research. I said it could be a medieval topic if you wanted to stay on that theme, but if you really want to go in your own direction and choose any nonfiction topic of your choosing, then that is perfectly fine as well. So if we look at my cover today, you'll see that I chose medieval medicine as my big topic, the thing that I wanted to know more about. And as I thought about the different text structures that I would use to write about medieval medicine, I decided that I would write about herbal remedies, bloodletting and leeches, and then lastly, a pandemic, the Black Plague. From there, I'm going to figure out which types of nonfiction text structures I would use to write these 3 different articles. So here's page 1 of my magazine, and I tried to choose a font that was appropriate for this time period. So again, my topic is medieval medicine. My first article is herbal remedies, and then my second article on this page is bloodletting and medicinal leeches. When we look through these articles a little bit more closely, you're going to see which structures that I use. So the easiest one to start with, let's look at the bloodletting and medicinal leeches article. So I start off describing bloodletting. I'm not going to read it to you, but the first section under bloodletting talks about all the different elements of what bloodletting was and what they thought it would do. And then the second paragraph down below under medicinal leeches kind of gives you those clue words as to the structure. Like bloodletting, leeches were also used to balance the body's humors. However, leeches have proven medical benefits such as improving blood circulation and anesthetizing. So right now we know that just looking at this particular, those few signal words, that this particular section I have done a compare contrast. Oh, sorry about that. So the first section I'm just describing bloodletting, and then the second section I'm comparing using leeches to bloodletting, but looking at the significant differences. So the article on herbal remedies, we're looking at just a descriptive article about the usage of herbs and plants. It says herbs and plants were not just for the kitchen in medieval times, since medical science was not much more than superstition and luck. And here's my thesis. Medieval citizens often turned to herbal remedies to prevent or treat illnesses. So the rest of the article, what I'm looking at are just a description of the different herbs and plants that are used. So some of the most common herbs, and then there's a list. Then I've described, what some of the treatments were used for. This is just a descriptive, kind of almost like a list of the most commonly used herbal remedies during medieval times. The second page of my article has the second part of the herbal remedies. And what's really important, because this is a magazine and magazines use lots and lots of different types of features, it's important to include images. It's important to include subtitles, captions, things like that. So as we said before, the herbal remedies article is strictly descriptive. And if we look at my Black Plague, the pandemic article that I said I was going to write on my cover, you can tell immediately what structure is being used. It is using a chronological sequence, and it's not really so much an article as it is a timeline, but that's perfectly fine. So what I wanted to show you in this article is the timeline, how long it took for the Black Plague to do its number on Europe. And you can see that it's about 14 years from 1338 when it really got started to 1352, where the bulk of Europe's population was kind of wiped out. So in this magazine, I have used a descriptive structure with my herbal remedies. I've used compare contrast with bloodletting and medicinal leeches, and lastly I've used a chronological structure to talk about the Black Plague. So I'm just going to run through the steps of creating the cover. I use a website called Big Huge Labs, and it's a really simple option. You are not required to use it, but I put the link on last week's assignment, but I just want to run through the steps because it's pretty easy, but there are some things that you might want to pay attention to. So it's bighugelabs.com, and then you can see here we're looking at magazine cover. So once you've opened up a magazine option, the first thing you're going to see is this kind of cover page, and it's really important that you start off thinking about what you want your magazine to look like. What type of image do you think you want to use to represent your topic? And this image will cover the entire magazine cover that you choose. So you do have to choose a file. You can, go through the files in your camera roll. If you're going to use something that you didn't create yourself, and you can create your own using an art studio app or something like that, I really need you to use search.creative commons because those have less copyright issues. So the first thing you're going to do is choose an image that you want for the main cover of your document. And then down here you can see you have different layout options. So this is the standard layout option where you have the title at the top in light blue and pink, and where it says line 1 through 15, that shows you the different options for where you can put your subtitles. The font is, the preset is Trebuchet, which is kind of, appropriate since it's a medieval weapon and I'm doing a medieval magazine. But those all can be changed. So here are a couple of different options that you can look at, when it says choose a layout. This one's kind of nice, magazine title, it's called Autumn. This one is just called Green Tagline, and that green stripe across the top is a tagline. So you can do one that's plain, it's up to you. But each of the different formats, as you can see, has a different organization of where the different lines might be, and those are really important, and we're going to look at those shortly. So for the next couple of steps, we're going to just do the basic green tagline. So you are going to type in, and everything is just, you highlight and type. You're going to put in your magazine title, and it will give you options for color and bold and shadow and things like that. Now the next thing you really want to think about is you're going to have at least 3 subtitles. So what you need to think about is where do you want them on your page? And one of the things that I found with Big Huge Labs is line 1 is often way too big for more than a 1-word line. So I would recommend maybe do one that's line 3, then maybe skip down and do line 6, and maybe your last one line 12 or something like that. Because if you notice, like line 6, if you have a long subtitle and then you put something here at line 10, it will probably become a muddled mess. They will kind of intersect and make a mess. So you want to think about where you want to put your subtitle, the words that you're going to type in. So if I want to put mine in line 3, then you'll see over here, here's line 3, and I type in the words, and then I can decide, do I want it bold, do I want a shadow, and I can change the color. And if I want line 6, well, that's going to be down below. So you really want to study and figure out how long your subtitles are and space them out so that they're easy to read. So once you've put in your title and your picture and all your subtitles, then at the very bottom of Big Huge Labs, you're going to see the Create tool. And once it does that, your finished image will show up. If you don't like it, you can always go back and edit it. I probably should have edited it because this black title right here is pretty hard to read. Pandemic, the Black Plague. That's kind of hard to read. So if I were to redo this, I would definitely go back and edit it and maybe change either the size or the font or the color. Because this is one of the online sources that you have to pay for certain options. What I do when I have one that's finished, I just take a screenshot of mine and then edit it down, because the download and share options, I believe, require a subscription. So here's my final magazine cover, my title. Then I have my 3 subtitles. I do have a little, what's called the tagline, just something to catch your attention. You can't really see it because it's black, but down below I chose the year, I think 1249, and I'm charging 24 pounds, I believe, for this particular document. So, and the code over here is just something to make it look more believable. So in my finished article, you're going to notice that my subtitles from my magazine articles match the subtitles on my cover. And here's the last one. So whatever subtitles you put on your magazine cover should match the articles that you put inside your magazine. So as you're thinking about your topic, you want to make sure that, because it's a magazine and not a research paper, that you are including lots of images, subtitles, fonts, bold-faced fonts in italics, titles, subtitles, headings, anything that will help enhance your information, because you're not writing a research paper, you're writing 3 short articles using nonfiction text structure. So this will be due when you finish it. Good luck with it. I hope many of you choose topics that you really want to explore and know more about. And if you have any questions, I'm going to be opening up a Google Hangout on Tuesdays. So good luck, and I'll talk to you later.